How's it going, everyone? Got Rex and Bob in today. I got to use some sophisticated tools first to start off with. All right.
Say the kind of wood again, please, Jay.
Sorry.
Say the kind of wood it is, please.
It's a bottle brush.
Some more.
Yeah, I've got a hatch car, and I pretty much filled it with it, so I got lots of it. And it's not a very big tree; it only gets to about 3 meters tall. They only get to a certain age, and they die anyway. So there's lots of them around getting chopped down at the moment. So I'll take advantage of it. Thank you. Look out. How you going, Effie? How are you? Yeah, Rex, before I was saying about the YouTube chat, if you go and grab the chat, you can actually pop the chat out as an independent window. And then you don't. And if you want to save bandwidth or whatever, you can just close off YouTube, and then you can chat in the live stream, because you can't do that on in the StreamYard page as such.
Okay. The line says I'm in StreamYard.
No, you're in StreamYard. You're all right, but you can't actually type in there and communicate with people that are in that are on Facebook and YouTube. Without actually saying something. So if you wanted to type, you have to get the YouTube chat window.
Okay, thank you.
That's okay.
Jay's in Australia. Dr. Bob's in Michigan.
How you going, Robbo?
Good morning, all.
Good morning, Robbo.
Good day, Rex, Bob, and Effie.
Is it tomorrow there in Australia already?
Sorry, what's that?
Is it already Thursday morning there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
It is 10:56 in the morning for me, and a half an hour in front
11.
of that, so 11. 20 past 11 in where Robbo is. So what's going on?
And John S. Carsing's just come in. Good day, John.
How you going, John?
Oh, I've had the first of 3 visitors, so if I disappear, you know where I've gone.
Yeah.
Been cutting up timber for a friend who he's been collecting bent bits of wood for making boomerangs.
Oh, yeah?
So I've been cutting them up.
What, you make them on bandsaw?
Yeah.
I have a friend who makes the pool cues. I think that's the way I said it. I think he said it. He sells them. He makes them really decorative. He sells them for $25,000 US each, and he has one customer that's buying the next 4 years of all of his things, and he only makes 4 a year.
Oh well, good on him.
So you might think about that maybe there's a market for you guys doing the pool cues. I can't do it. It's too complicated for me.
Yeah, it's a bit of I must admit, it's a bit of an art. I've got I think Bob and that know, I've got a friend that only makes pens and bottle stoppers, but his pens are $500 each.
Wow.
That's his minimum pen, and I think I've a limit of 10. they've got to buy 10 at a time. He supplies corporations with for corporate gifts and things like that in the States. He's here in Australia. Bob, you're muted. That's why we can't hear you.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking to someone here in the room.
Oh, that's okay. I thought you might have been trying to talk to us. Yeah. He makes them out of Australian timbers and things like that. He works under a staircase, believe it or not.
Wow. That's better than me. I make ink pens and I donate them to veterans and all that, and just hand them out.
Yeah. Now, this is not a rude question, Rex. I know that you're a veteran and was in Afghanistan. But do you have a memory problem?
Yes, my wife and a couple of the medical specialists suggested I work on it.
Right.
Since I lost a bunch of it.
No, the only reason I ask is that I've noticed a couple of times you sort of ask the same questions on things.
Yeah, I forget things day in and day out.
Right. But whenever you're ready, willing, and able, as long as it fits in with my time frame, I'll teach you how to sharpen a skew. But you'll have to take your phone down to your workshop.
Sure. That'd be good, because in my workshop I have, like written down 10 basic things to do for wood turning, like check, gouge, see if sharp. If not, take to grinder, put in jig, and follow those steps. And it has to be detailed for me, because I'm not in there every day, or less than every day. I forget it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So my wife made a big checklist for me, and so I follow that.
Yes, I got your wife's message last night. Your wife's name's Tammy.
Yep. Must be doing something right. We just passed 40 years together, so.
Yeah, it's like mine. I don't know how mine's put up with me for 40 years either.
Yeah, she could have killed me for the insurance, but she hasn't done that.
Yeah.
Say that again.
It sounds like she's in the background. Yeah. Hello, Tammy.
What's wrong?
Hi, guys.
Yep. Hello from Michigan. So,
From Detroit.
the winter water wonderland. So we say.
Have you ever been up to, Dr. Bob, have you ever been up to that? I can't remember the name of the place. It's an island up in the northern part of Michigan. Mackinac?
Mackinac? Oh, yeah.
Never
They still do not allow automobiles, except that the guy that owns the big hotel up there has a waiver, and what he has is that he has a forklift. Because he needs it to unload the boats of all the food and cleaning and everything, supplies. But that's always, they do it at night, so people don't see it. It's got curtains or whatever around it when they do it. I know my brother had a church in the UP just in St. Ignace, just the other side of the straits, and from that side with a telescope you could see his motorized vehicle, of which they claim there isn't any on the island.
But they hit it well.
It's a beautiful place. It's a lot of walking, and of course you can rent buggies, you can rent horses. It's just there's no motorized vehicles supposedly, except for his forklift. They do have some motor scooters, but those are for the police. And they do have a fire truck that's motorized, but that's exempt. Still is.
You're down in Florida, aren't you, Rex?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You're Rex. You're in northern Florida or north central.
And the town is biggest town is Melbourne, Florida, which is south of this Kennedy Space Center, about 40, 50 miles or so.
Okay.
And I emailed you my exact address and all that,
Yeah.
and my phone number, so that you could give it to those guys and they could text me. And I have unlimited text anywhere. And do that. And I was going to say that maybe if you know, I know you're in Michigan, Bob, but if there's something from this area that I can send you as far as like wood pieces that's unique to down here, let me know and I'll try and do that. As far as Australia goes, I've not gotten a chance to go to the post office and see about what restrictions there are.
Yeah, just wait and they hand you the page to read.
I'll have to get my wife to look at it. She's the one that is able to read the fine print and discern.
Well, you can actually go online to the U.S. Post Office and you'll find all those documents there too. It's cheaper if you're going to ship to Australia to ship it as a gift. That way you don't have to show, and especially, you don't have to give a price because it's a gift.
Yep.
Like you can't. I don't think they'd appreciate you shipping a car. But
in UK, you could, if you kept the price valued at less than $50, and then it was a gift to a person, then it supposedly ships for less. But I sent a 13-pound package to UK to that Wayne the wood turner.
Yeah.
And it cost me $115.
Oh yeah.
So I imagine it'd be probably similar to Australia, wouldn't it? Do you think, or a lot more than that?
I'd say it'd probably be about the same.
So yeah, I'll have to read up on the woods and all that. So if there's something I can send you guys, let me know. Some unusual type of wood. Like Norfolk Island pine is, like, for Dr. Bob in Michigan, Norfolk Island pine is probably something for up there. And as far as Australia, though, I have no clue.
Yeah, it's a good firewood here.
It makes a good lampshade.
Oh yes, yes it does. You can, when you get some, you can really, while it's wet, cut it really thin. It's good for making hats in that sense.
Yep.
It's just you've got to get an older tree where the branches are farther apart, so you don't end up with any of the what do you call them, where the stem comes out, or a branch.
Knots.
It's got to be clear.
Knots.
Knots. That's it. Knots.
Yeah. The knots. If you're not familiar with Norfolk Island pine, instead of the branches going through and just being from the outside of the tree, the knots of the branches go all the way to the center.
Yes.
So it creates almost like a burrow sort of thing, but it's just where the branches are, and it makes like a star pattern if you get like 5 branches at one spot, or 6.
Oh yeah, I've got a few pieces drying. And the nice thing about it, if you if normally you coat wood to keep it end grain in order to keep it from splitting. But with the Norfolk pine, I had a friend tell me, well, don't coat the end grain. If you're going to do anything with it, drill some holes in it, and depending upon if you're just going to me, I've made some very interesting vases, LED lights in them, drill them out while they're still wet, and then I cut it. I love deep hollowing. That's my bag, is deep hollowing. I would design some deep hollowing tools that are on the market. But by doing it that way, I was told to help it dry better is to just drill some holes, 1/4 inch holes, get some soda straws, paper ones. They had to be paper, and shove them in the holes. And then the paper will draw moisture to it, and it'll evaporate out of the straws from the top, and you can actually dry the wood that way. And it looks weird, but it works.
Norfolk Island pine. Norfolk Island pine. I've turned a lot of that. And I'll tell you what, it is hard once it's dry.
Yes, but you got to get it dry first.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Effie, I can't get a word in edgeways sometimes when Bob starts yakking.
How you
Sorry.
going, Neil?
Right, Neil.
Hello.
Going on?
Not much.
Only just by the sound of it.
Yeah, raining and dismal and horrible here at the moment.
And in lockdown.
Are we in lockdown, are we?
I don't know, I thought you were.
Oh, good question. I don't watch the news, so yeah, good question. I'll have to look it up. Shit.
No, I don't know, Bob. I don't know, Neil, whether you are or not, actually.
It wouldn't surprise me with all your bloody footballers coming up here.
Geez, I don't know. You love blaming us Victorians, don't you? There's a little, just for Bob and Rex, there's a little bit of interstate rivalry, you might say.
Is that for rugby or a different game?
No, both Australian rules football.
I watched that.
Australian
sometime.
rules and rugby. They're sending all their players up here to Queensland.
Yeah, and both of those should be blown up. It's a shit sport.
Oh, bloody hopeless.
And I noticed, Rex, that you're on the same time as what Bob is. You're on the same Central Standard Time, are you?
Eastern.
Eastern Standard Time, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, actually, we're Eastern Daylight here. Most of the states switch to daylight.
Yeah.
You get more party time in the sun.
Oh, no. Queensland doesn't switch to daylight savings time because it fades the curtains.
It's mainly because in Queensland it only makes half an hour difference. We don't get the long days of summer and the shorter ones in winter. It's pretty much the same all year round, like all tropics.
Yeah. Like in Queensland, when the sun goes down, they switch the lights out because that's exactly what it is. Whereas we get a long twilight generally, like we get an hour and a half, or maybe 2 hours sometimes of a twilight after the sun actually goes down. Whereas Queensland, man, as soon as that sun gets below the horizon, it goes dark. That was well done, Jay.
Do you intend to do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought so too. I didn't know which one was going to go first, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, yesterday, this is what I ended up doing.
Yeah,
Oh,
I watched the end of it.
Okay, and what's that?
I don't know, you tell me.
It's an AUO,
Yeah,
another useless object.
that's it, you got it. With a captured ring on it. Woo! No, I've got no idea.
A captured chunk.
it's tool practice.
Captured poo. Sorry. So, Effie, what's going on? Yeah, you say we're not chatting. You're not talking either. Come on.
Yeah, I just got a notification today. They're going to be replacing some utility poles Sunday
No,
up behind our houses.
yeah.
And at the same time, trimming some trees back, but they're also replacing the connectivity, at least from the internet provider that I have,
G'day, Steve.
with fiber, and getting rid of their coax. And at the same time, the competitor is supposed to be doing the same thing. Every city's got 2 choices minimum.
How you going,
And,
Steve?
so I'm told I won't have any internet Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason they picked it is because there are still a lot of people doing summer school now online, so they can't
better-
do it during the weekday.
You better ask your neighbours for their Wi-Fi password.
There won't be any.
No, that's come on, neighbours down the road, round the block or something. What? Not even on your phone?
You said if they're cutting some trees down, there might be some wood there for you if it's not all pine.
Oh, none of it's pine. It's oak.
Oh,
Oak
okay.
and cherry. We have walnut. Most around here is black walnut, oak, some cherry. Not much here, but that's when in Michigan's history, the state was clear cut because railroad ties for the early railroad, the transcontinental one, anything
Chris.
from this side of the divide, they all came from Michigan because of the hardwood that we had, and big mills that's all they turned out were railroad ties.
How you going, Chris?
So they pretty well clear cut the state, and everything had to grow back again. So that's why people that know the state's wood history always make it second growth.
So you finished that spider thing there, Neil, or what?
No, I've put it aside for a while because I've got other things to get onto, so I'm doing them for now.
Jay, can you reach down behind your lathe?
Yeah.
There is a chip hanging on a spider's web or something down under there,
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
and it's annoying the hell out of me. Good, thank you.
You don't like spiders?
There's a lot
Or
of
is-
things walking around.
No, it's the wobbling around. Like my eyes pick up movement really badly, and it tends to focus on it rather than on other things.
Oh, My mother had that problem. She could find a cobweb a mile away.
I'm a little scared of spiders myself. One of the tours was in Iraq, and they had those camel spiders.
Ooh, I've heard of them.
Familiar with those, but they can grow to be about 1.5 feet or so big.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of those, and that's enough. Thanks.
They're
Yep.
not poisonous to the people unless you sit there like 5 minutes or so. But it's amazing what they can do, and everything's in their legs, so they can jump from the ground up to the rear end of the camel.
Right. And Bailey and Chris says there's a lot of good fertilizer in Michigan, or maybe just a lot of bull stuff. I think that's pretty well worldwide, Chris.
Yeah.
We won't hold that against you, Chris, if you're from Ohio.
Yeah, I have a question for you guys. I'm
Go for it.
not sure what it's called. For lack of a better word, I'm going to call it a caliper. When you have something chucked up, almost like that, thing that's chucked up in a chuck, and you have a piece of wood that's like, and you want to measure depth you have before you hit the funnel part.
Sorry, what was that, Rex? You sort of went a bit faint there for a minute.
Sorry, something that you can measure, so you can measure the depth of the wood before you go out the other end, right inside the chuck.
Put me on full camera for a minute, please, Joe.
You're talking about it's got a flat part that goes
A depth
to
gauge.
the edge, and then a depth going down. A depth gauge, yeah, is what we call it. But
Is that what you're talking about, Rex?
Well, it's more like a circular device. That one, a friend of mine told me to use something like that and put it up against the two sides of the bowl or vase, and then use that to measure how far inside you went, and then can estimate how much farther you got to go. But
Yeah, you're talking about a depth gauge, as Neil says. Most of them are homemade. You just get a bit of wood like that, drill a hole through it, and put a dowel through it, so that the dowel goes through like that, and then you can measure the depth of the bowl, because you sit these edges on the rim of the bowl, and then push that through, and then sit this up on the edge, and you can see how far you've got to go.
They're easy to make. I use a little brass rod that I was able to get, and a friend of mine, he is a welder, so he used a welding rod and stuck in there. But it's got to be a snug fit, but not necessarily a tight fit.
Yeah, that's right. It's what in the engineering trade it's called a sliding fit.
Okay.
the advantage of the bought ones is basically the bit that sticks out instead of a dowel or rod. It's a mini ruler of sorts, so it actually measures the distance. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get what you pay for.
All right,
But
Dave,
I
you're
get
taking
more
off
pride I get more pride over using something I've made.
But I found the best depth gauge is that.
I will
I just
try
like
it. Thank you.
Yeah, like that, like Jay's doing there now.
The other alternative is just use two rulers, one to go across and one to go in.
Yeah, exactly. There's a million
different
ways
from
of doing
what
it.
They told me to get.
Yeah.
They suggested I try and get something that's almost like the letter O, and then you open up one end and it open, the other end.
Oh,
opens
there,
and closes.
that'll run you 100, 150. You got
Yeah,
that kind of money.
No.
Hire someone to measure it for you. And then they
Now,
can do drinks and stuff like that and serve you, ice cream. And you get your money's worth.
No, that sounds like you're describing the wall thickness as well with that tool, Rex.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I didn't use a gouge and go through the bottom, because I've done that 3 or 4 times. And, it gets frustrating when you think you're going, okay, I got at least half an inch, or at least what I think is a half an inch, and there you go through the bottom of it.
Oh yeah. It's bad when you hear that clink, clink, clink of the steel against the chisel because you've hit the chuck.
Yep.
And you got a big serviette ring.
Oh, my wife laughs at me and she teases and harasses me just for that, and said, I don't think that's what we bought those tools for.
Well, that's what wives are there for.
That's very true.
It's funny, I was watching an end grain bowl being turned yesterday with a hook tool. And he drilled a hole to get the right depth, and then proceeded to keep hollowing for another half an inch past it. And I'm sort of, he's going to go through the bottom of that any minute.
Yeah, but he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Actually, here's a good series on turning bowls.
I was trying to work out where he's from, because
He's American.
he is American. There wasn't a heavy American accent, that's for sure.
Sorry?
It wasn't a heavy American accent.
No. Almost like Boston or somewhere like that, where they nearly speak English.
That's what separates us from England.
Oh, well, as the Poms say, we gave you the language and you crucified it.
Yeah. Well, we escaped. You escaped from Europe. I mean, either that or you were penalized and put there on purpose. So you have a right to be mad enough to change everything.
All our ancestors, as I say, were export quality.
No, depth gauge is just make one.
Yeah, it's simple as.
Home Depot, Lowe's, get a little brass rod. They have them. I forget what aisle number, but they've got them in white plastic PVC tubes, and you can pick the length. I like brass, but you can get little steel rods and just stick it through a piece of wood. And if you want to make the piece of wood look nice, that's fine. Just make sure that it's got one flat surface. That's what you're going to put across whatever you're measuring.
Okay, I will add that to my list at Home Depot.
I mean, it's a cheap way of making it. You don't need anything more. And then it's going to be longer because they sell them like 3 foot, and you don't need anything like that, or 2 foot worth. But if you want to go any deeper, well, then that's deep hollowing. You can always use it to make a longer one.
So, 1/4.
And when they start to slip in the hole, because of usage, if you don't use a hardwood for your cross piece, and when they start to slip, just hit it with some wax.
Okay.
A chunk of beeswax, and it'll make it tacky enough to fit snugly in there. just rub the whole rod or a chunk of it through the wax itself. I would say use your wife's sewing wax, but I don't know if women still use it. My grandparents and mother used to strengthen thread. When they had to put it through an eye of a needle, they'd have a little round block of beeswax. In fact, I still have what's left of hers that I remember her having in the 40s.
I don't think they have that now. My wife says they don't. I know my granny used to just tell us to go to the candle that was lit and dip our finger in the wax and do the eye of the needle that way, because we had to thread them for it.
Yep. But that's a softer wax.
We lived down on the farm, so we didn't get into the stores a lot.
Speaking of wax, I finished all that wax mix yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Made the 50-50 with mineral oil for a finishing on the cutting boards, but also tried your mix, Jay, of basically 4-to-1. Makes it a lot softer. And a few jars of that as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's $20 a jar.
Oh, you're selling it now. With your own custom label?
And someone else is making it. All right, so
I give it away when I make a cutting board.
I want to seal the wood. What do I do it with? Huh?
Oh, the perfect wax that would match what I'm thinking of, because I've got a piece that I'm using. I used to do cross-country skiing, and I had red and green wax for the different weather conditions that I skied in. And they're just little round tube cylinders, and you tear the cardboard off as you need more and more of it to wax your cross-country skis. And that's what I use now in my shop. And also, when I have to thread a needle and I can't get it to go through the hole, I just pull it through the wax and it makes it stiff. So I can hold about an inch away from the hole, and with a magnifying glass, actually poke it through the hole of the needle.
Rex, I put a link in there to making a depth gauge, all right?
Okay, thank you.
So,
anyway, guys, I'm going to hit the road. I've got to do other things.
all right, see you later, Neil. Yeah, I'll be doing the same
I'm
shortly.
going to have to go because my wife put on headsets so that she didn't have to hear me. She keeps laughing at you guys, and she loves the word tacky because she says that's pretty much her. She's tacky, and she likes making tacky jokes and all that. And so she says she can't go to sleep because she's having all those instant comeback lines and all that. She's the quick-witted one, and I'm always deliver the straight line and give her like 5 or 6 quick, fast comeback lines.
Now, did Jay say he was going, did he?
He said he was going to go find a chunk of wood, I thought.
Oh, it seems like he's dropped out or something. Looks like he's dropped out.
He had a long sleeve shirt and pants and all that. So.
Well, it's winter.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's tomorrow, too. I mean, they're in the future.
That's true. It could be the cold wave here tomorrow.
Well, no, but they actually are.
Yeah.
It's tomorrow on the calendar for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time travel. Think about that. You're talking to the future, carrying on a conversation that to us is in the future.
It's a wonderful thing to do.
Well,
It's just that Robo and Jay won't give us the lottery numbers.
no, we hold them to ourselves.
That would be a good thing. We could spread the wealth.
No. They've already got their bets down, so they're going to win.
Yep.
But that always makes someone stumble a bit, because people just, us old farts, we're just getting used to it because of COVID. Being able to meet like this and use it. The young kids, teens, preteens, they've been doing this on their computer, playing games with people globally, and they just take it for granted. It's because it's like, Uncle Bob, we've been doing this since you bought me the Xbox, and that was like at 9. And I get thinking, well, I guess. And then, remember you bought me the camera, and it was so yeah. Okay. But it's been part of their operating system, and it's been a few other systems have had that you've been able to do video, but it's been slow scan and degraded, but not anymore. And the kids are so used to it in gaming that it's second nature to them. And us old farts have to get used to it.
It looks like Jay might have gone, I think.
But he's still alive, according to the upper left corner.
Yeah, he hasn't shut down the thing. I don't know whether he's dropped out or whether he had to go somewhere.
Blackout. What does that mean by they're having a blackout?
A blackout down here
Yeah.
means all the power goes off.
Yeah, that's what I just got a note from Jay saying that.
Oh, right. I don't. Yeah, right. All the power's gone.
And of course, it'll stay running all night.
Yeah.
Because it's cloud-based.
Until he can get back in and shut it down.
Well, if we all drop out, it'll shut down automatically.
I don't know whether it does or not, actually.
It's got to see some connection. At least that's what they say in StreamYard.
And Chris says he needs to call someone from yesterday and see what happened today.
Yeah.
But no, it's rather funny actually. Like after 9/11 in the States, it was amazing how many people blamed Australia for not telling them that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people, it's just they can't. It just can't seem to understand it.
Yeah.
But then again, they have lived in it's like some of the old TV shows. Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon, we kind of got used to, and Dick Tracy, he had his wristwatch with the TV camera, and we always looked at that as pure fantasy. And ignored things like being able to talk to the planet Mongo and stuff like that, and talk to friends on a watch. Except today, we do it all the time.
Yeah.
And,
they call it progress, but I'm a doubt sometimes.
Well, I'm wired online, and if my blood sugar goes astray to some extent, I get a warning on my watch, and I get it on the phone, and it won't give up.
Yep. And Chris said, remember the crossover to 2000? Everyone was so scared. It's not like it happened all at once.
Oh, yes. That Y2K, I was involved in that for our government through GSA, and we had a big task force for Y2K in the government, and the General Services Administration had more computers than any other agency, including military, because they were everywhere. And often those same computers that they had in Treasury and that were all GSA computers that they ordered, and they were bought and delivered to them and maintained by the GSA IT people. And the Y2K, the idea that what would happen when the computer would hit 2000, because the clock inside the computer, they didn't know what was going to happen. And they thought for sure it would hang the computers. Nah. It just reset itself to 1860. Because in some brands, it depended upon who made the clock chip, because they just picked an early date for some reason when it was burned in there to set the clock up. But it was an interesting time having everybody, but the computer people loved it because it was the largest purchase of computers in history.
Oh, yeah, and they made a fortune out of it.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, definitely. But it did force people to get rid of systems and upgrade them from running simple Microsoft DOS. And because everything was mainframe based, and people were only using the computers if you were a high muckety muck. You had one on your desk, but all you were doing is opening into a database to do searches. You weren't doing any math. You weren't doing anything on the computer. You were reading documents or sending texts and mail, and that was it. So it didn't really matter.
I felt your pain there for a minute, Rex.
Yeah, sorry, I'm still fighting the fever, and my hand gets cramped because I'm holding the cell phone. And, you know, when I put it down like this, I'm just leaning it against my right arm, which is mostly useless. And so it's cramping up on me. So I may have to call it a night and just go to bed with the wife and come back and catch you guys on Friday morning. Is that the next one?
Every day around about 11 o'clock our time, which is about 9 o'clock, I think, your time.
Yeah, 9 o'clock Eastern.
Okay.
Now,
So
the one that I'm going to send you an invitation to in England, it's at 2:30 in the afternoon here, Eastern time. But they start letting people in about 2:15, 2:10, 2:15, and it's every Tuesday and Friday. Same time, same password, same link, and I'll see that you get a permanent invitation to join the group, because I have other friends that are active in our club that pop in and out of it, and we got club members from Canada and from as far away as Alaska.
Great, thank you.
And
with that, I'll say good night since my hand's cramping up some more.
Yep. And we'll see you tomorrow night, and then
yes, sir.
Friday afternoon.
And I hope Jay's able to get back. Okay.
All right. See you later, Rex. Good to see you.
Thank you so much for the help and guidance, gentlemen.
Anytime. That's what this is for.
And I do appreciate it. Thank you. Again, good night.
Good day.
No worries. God, we'll turn you into an Australian yet.
Well, I'll go too. And because if it's dead the other end, you can go and see what your lovely wife has cooked up for you for dinner.
No, she's away today. So.
Oh.
But I have to go anyway. I've got people coming in this afternoon. So. All right. Catch you later, Bob. See you later, Bailey. Effie, anybody else that's in the chat that I've missed? Sorry, Steve. John.